Hello, 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 yogis. Welcome to our Yin 25 certification program. I'm so happy to have you here. My name is Jill Enticknap, and I am the creator and founder of Yogi Institute. And whether this is a continued education course to get your Yin certification, or whether this is a module for the 300-hour advanced training program, I am so happy and grateful to share this yoga journey with you. Yoga has absolutely transformed my life, and that's what makes me so passionate about sharing it with others. It has become one of the main tools for me to understand myself, my body, my mind, my emotions, and my spirit. So as you embark on this journey, know that I am here to support you 100%, and that I am so passionate about sharing this practice with others. So for our Yin 25 training, this is the first video. This is your welcome video. This is the course outline, where we will go through and you will gain a deeper understanding as to what this program consists of. So each module is broken down into 3 sections. We have practicum, professionals, and practices. And it's kind of even, kind of not between them, but those are the 3 main categories. So the practicum is content that I share with you. The professionals, I go into the industry and I find people who have the best information to support whatever training program we're in, and I share that with you. And then there's the practices. And for me, the practices are the true integration of our practice. So whether it is Yin classes or whether it is meditation classes, the practice is the key. It is how we embody what we teach. It is how we embody what we teach. Our own experience of our personal practice becomes the lens that we share our practice through. So that's why there are practices that you do throughout every training program that draw in experiential learning. That's what it's all about, experiential learning. You embody the practice. So there are 10 classes in the training portal, and the classes range from 50 minutes all the way to 90 minutes. And I want you to do them all. I want you to do all 10 classes that are in the training portal, because you're taking classes from different teachers. You're getting different perspectives. Yes, I'm teaching you some. You're taking some from Bernie Clark. You're taking some from other yoga professionals. Some are 60 minutes. There's a 75 and there's a 90. And I want you to have the experience of what it's like to do a longer Yin practice. Do a 75-minute, do a 60-minute, and then there are also so many 30-minute classes that you can do as well if you choose. But the embodiment of the practice is so important. The professionals section. In the professional section of the Yin training program, we meet Sarah Powers, who is one of the creators, the original creators of Yin yoga. We meet Bernie Clark, who is another guru of, he literally is the author of the complete guide to Yin yoga, our textbook for this training. Paul Gurley, he is another Yin yoga originator. He's one of the creators of Yin yoga. So we have these 3 who are major influences in creating this practice. Then we also look at connective tissue. We want to understand connective tissue deeply, because that is the anatomy that this practice really benefits and affects. And then there's 2 videos about stress and how we can make stress our friend. And to me, that is one of the greatest gifts that Yin yoga, and as Yin yoga teachers, one of the greatest gifts that we have to offer our students. When people hear the word stress, they automatically think no, bad. I want to live stress-free. Stress kills. There's so many different videos. Stress is kind of a buzzword. But in yin, one of the main principles is that healthy tissues are stressed tissues. Not all tissues benefit from lengthening and strengthening. Many of our connective tissues benefit from stress. So that's like a compression, that's like a pressure. So we reframe our relationship to stress. And in the professionals videos that talk about stress and address stress, we learn medical backing, we learn research that's been done about how stress actually benefits us. And I always say that stress is inevitable. It is a part of life. And if you're not really experiencing stress in your life, you may not be growing or living to your fullest potential. But yoga is a tool to help us manage stress. So we can reframe our relationship to stress, to utilize it in a more positive way and see how it actually affects our bodies, minds, productivity, emotions in a positive way. So that reframe on stress, if you take nothing else, or if you don't offer anything else to your students, I highly, highly recommend that you implement that knowledge, that understanding into your teaching. It is so empowering. It is so powerful. And then we have practicum. So the practicum is where the Yogi Institute manual and the Yin Yoga guide come into play. I go through these different concepts with you, and you watch the videos, and that is the practicum. So the practicum is with me. The professionals is where we draw in the influence of leaders in the industry, and then the practices are where we embody the practice. Now, there are other components to this training. These other components are, 1, practice teach. So you need to do at least 1 practice teach. Once you've created the sequence that you're going to use for your final teaching evaluation, practice it. Practice it with your loved one, practice it in your studio, practice it. I actually recommend doing it, recording it, and then doing your own class in your own body from yourself. That is such a powerful tool. So that is 1 piece, 1 practice teach. 1 office hours session. Office hours sessions are live Zoom sessions with me and potentially other students who are taking other training programs. And this is where you get live, in the moment support through your training program. So write down your questions, bring your questions. Training, the office hours are Fridays from 10 to 11 Central Time, and 10 to 11 a.m. Central Time. And if you have one specific question, and if you're tight on time, but you want to pop into office hours and you only have 10 minutes, we'll make 10 minutes work. If you have an hour and you want to practice your sequence, send me a message. We can make that work. Office hours are the time where I offer live, in the moment support to you and offer you community and connection. So take advantage of office hours. There's 1 required, but it's unlimited as to how many you actually use. I would love to see you in office hours. We have the written exam. The written exam is in the training portal, but it's also in your training manual. This written exam is an open book exam, though I do recommend that you go through the exam without your book, answer everything that you can, and if there's anything that you don't know, then get your book and go through and find the answers. The intention behind the written exam is to increase your confidence and remind you how much you actually do know, not to trip you up about what you don't. And then we have our teaching evaluation. This is where you teach a 45 to 60 minute yin yoga sequence to someone, and you record it and you send me the recording so that I can evaluate you and offer you feedback. How the feedback works at Yogi Institute is we give a glow and a grow. So the glow is something that you did fantastic. And the grow is something that maybe you might want to change and you can improve on. Feedback is always subjective, and you decide what you want to implement. It isn't a right, wrong, good, bad. It is simply feedback. And part of the reason that I offer that is because once we get out into the industry, we don't often get feedback. So it's very powerful. It's meant to help us and support us in improving as teachers. That is what feedback is. That is the beauty of feedback. When we think about, or when we look at these 3 different sections of practicum, professionals, and practices. So how this is broken down is it's about 6 to 7 hours of practicum, 4.5 hours of professionals, and about 11 hours of practices. And then add in the office hours, practice, teach, final exam, and the teaching evaluation, and that's where you get your 25 hours. Most of the time, the trainings end up taking more than the 25 hours, but it's kind of the basic of. So at the end of the training program, you are going to submit to me 3 different things. Number 1, you're going to submit to me your top 10 takeaways from the 10 yoga classes that you took. Now, your top 10 takeaways might be, I loved using the Ujjayi breath during my yin practice. It might be, I loved adding in a guided meditation at the beginning to help ground myself in. It might be, this was my favorite yin pose. It might be, this is what I experienced. Those top 10 takeaways, there is no right, wrong answer. The main intention behind them is to show me that you took something from your practice. The second thing you're going to submit is your written exam. And the third thing you're going to submit is a link to your teaching evaluation. And I ask that you send me those 3 things all together, and I will receive that. I will go in the back end, and you do that after you've watched all the videos, after you've completed everything. Once I receive that email, I'll go in the back end and make sure, double check that you've watched all the videos. This is an accountability check for both of us to make sure that you're getting the most out of this training program. So if you don't already have your book, The Complete Guide to Yin Yoga by Bernie Clark, this is such an amazing resource for yoga in general, not just yin yoga. There is so much valuable information in here that we will target certain parts of this book, but it is full from front to back of wonderful information, of wonderful knowledge, and I come back to it over and over and over again. You will also need your Yogi Institute manual. So the manual is in the resources section of the training portal. If you haven't already downloaded it or printed it off, I highly recommend doing that. I like to actually have a physical copy, but I also have my iPad here, and I have the PDF on my iPad as a quick reference as well. So you can do one, you can do other, you can do both. And then you also need a journal, because as you go through these 10 classes, you're going to journal after each class. And that's what you're going to draw your top 10 takeaways from. I do not need to read your journal. It's more a space for you to reflect and remember and take note of what you experienced throughout your class. Anytime you take a yoga class, I highly recommend that you reflect on that yoga practice. What wisdom came to you and through you as you went through your practice? It isn't just about the time we spend on our mat. Our practice continues to benefit us and ripple out into our life and into our experience even after we leave our mat. What we do on our mat is actually a direct reflection of what we do off of our mat. So there is so much wisdom in what we do on our mats, especially in our yin practice, because we slow down. The outside life, our time off of our mats, we are being called in so many different directions. Our attention and awareness is being called in so many different directions. And our yin practice is our time to slow down, get still, and tune in. Inward, into our own bodies, into our own minds, into our own emotions. Slowing down isn't always easy. Being still isn't always easy. But as we go through this training and we look at the benefits and the purpose, and we look at the anatomy of it and what's actually happening in our body, we start to realize how and why not only we need this practice, but society needs this practice. We need to slow down and connect to stillness. We need to center into ourselves, to develop our own inner compass, to help us to know how we move forward in our own most authentic way and on our own most authentic path. That is where I see the benefits of our yin practice as we embrace stillness. So just to recap the overview, in the training portal, we have practicum, professionals, practices. In order to complete the program, you need to do one practice teach session. It does not need to be recorded. I trust you. I know that you're doing it. One office hours session, show up. I want to see you. I want to hear from you. I want to support you. The written exam and the teaching evaluation. Those 4 pieces. So we have the 3 pieces, practicum, professionals, practices, and then we have practice teach, office hours, written exam, teaching evaluation. So that's the overview of the practice. Come back to this if you need to. I think it's pretty straightforward, but if you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Let's jump in to the Yin 25 training. I will see you in the next video.